all to say, I feel like a lot of our systems are on autopilot. A lot of the younger generation has checked out. And ultimately, it is going to be up to millennials and Zoomers to not just talk about this shit on Twitch politics, but also to get into local and city government and start implementing change. The way that I feel about it is Trump and MAGA was one of the things that kind of turned me off to the Republican Party because
So
and then Mr. Dave, we can see the back of your head.
the back of my head.
Yeah.
Cool. Do I got like a weird birthmark here? Can you? Is there like a
Yeah.
weird
Yeah,
spot
I can
there?
see that.
Oh, I didn't even know about that until like last year.
Nice.
Oh my lord. All right, there we
Well,
go. That's nice.
cool. Well, it's a little low, but I mean, we got the gist of you. We can see you, and the
Oh,
audio's pretty good.
oh yeah, it goes. Oh, here we go. I'm not like cutting out or anything like that, or
No, the audio's great.
perfect. Awesome.
I
Oh
talk
yeah.
I talk to most people on like phone rigs, so this is a step up in quality. And
Mm.
and most people don't go on camera, so it's nice to have a face.
Yeah, this is probably a mistake, me going on camera right now. Because I was like,
No,
I
no.
flipped a coin. I'm like, should I do it?
Nah, fuck it. Come on, come out on the brave. Nobody's
Yeah, it's.
tried to like serial kill or rape me or kill me yet, so actually, I
Mhm.
think you'll be fine. But but basically,
Oh,
yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
yeah, I had a comment, but the last guy that was on, the historian,
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoyed that sort of like visual aid that you guys had going on with like the map and discussing it, all that stuff. Um, I feel like that should be a thing that you keep doing, like as things going on. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Actually, the thing that I've been
as it
tempted
progresses.
by, and yeah, actually, we probably should keep it updated, and I'll use him as a resource as we keep it updated. But the thing that's how do I phrase this? I want to do produce content like where I can edit. And technically, I spend enough time doing this on a weekly basis that I probably could be doing edits. But
Mhm.
I do so much live content now. What would have to happen is I would have to back off on the amount of content that I'm producing and redo that into editing. And I like talking to people. I like bullshitting. I like doing panels. I like doing one on ones. I like doing my little reactions
Mm.
and all that kind of shit. So it's kind of hard to. I know I could up the quality of the content, but I don't. But I don't want to give up the content that I do have. So it is what it is.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
so that is a temptation of mine. And then could you introduce the folks or introduce yourself to the folks at home and a little bit of what we're going to be talking about for the next hour or so?
Okay, so my name is Common Cure. Um, um, Also Diagonal Dave. Like on Twitch. Um, so yeah, Twitch wouldn't allow me to call myself Common Cure for some reason because I don't know because someone stole it. But I have like I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I don't really have any content just yet, but I've been wanting to get into like politics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a fun world.
um, the message I sent you was about me being like an ex-Trump supporter. Um, and well, I'll get to that in a second. But I do have some content on YouTube. I did some like local journalism in a couple years ago. Just went out to a town and just like asked people. I have one video on like the coronavirus before like it was hot to talk about, before it was really cool to talk about. Um, just asking people questions. I live in a small town, so like normally see people like you see a lot of on the ground journalism like in bigger cities, and I was like, let's see what like other other just regular people in other smaller towns have to say. That's all. Um, I don't like journalists. I hate them, and at the same time, I want to
You
kind
want to
of fill
like
that
them?
gap.
Yeah, it's an important
They're supposed, yeah.
it's an important social function. It's frustrating that so much of it has been polarized, I guess, where their function is no longer served because they're just propagandists. So that's really frustrating. But yeah, but if you wanna walk us through kind of your evolution, I'll tell you the way that I feel about it is Trump and MAGA was one of the things that kind of turned me off to the Republican Party because I was raised by Christian conservatives, but they were raised in the liberal Northeast. So they had like a very pro Yankee, anti racist, like liberal understanding of the American project, founded in constitutionalism and the pride of like Massachusetts and Philadelphia and all these places that were part of our founding. So they were constitutional Christian conservatives who liked liberalism, but they were
Is
so.
it? Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I've noticed is that there's like a strange thing that kind of I didn't understand is that there's like these two groups of conservatives that I've noticed that there's like the Christian conservatives, right? Like you're talking about this, right? Christian conservatives, and then like the constitutional conservatives, like the ones that are I worked for a deli like maybe like 10 years ago. I worked for a deli and he was like a like hardcore like really conservative, but he wasn't like a religious conservative. He was, more like the constitutional. Like he would have like posts I had his Facebook and he would post memes about like, chicks and, hot babes and stuff. So he fell into that sort of category with where he wanted to, where it was like the freedom to, I guess like the
Libertarianism,
anti-feminist, the more like
conservatarianism.
anti-feminist sort of conservative,
Mm-hmm.
where like you wanted, tits in movies, you know, like as a response to seeing like a lot of the like more women are like in more modern movies are more covered up. I'm not saying all movies, but yeah, you see that more
Yeah, there's almost like
with
a
them.
woke conservatism compared to like the
Yeah.
1980s where there were like babes in bikinis with machine
Yes.
guns, and there was the Coors Light commercial where it's like, I love babes on TV. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. And honestly, one of the funny things is there was this TV show from the thousands called Blue Mountain State, and it was the last time I saw like a raunchy, gross out sex comedy that was 100% misogynist and gross. And I was like, man, like you can't make this shit anymore. I'm surprised this is
No.
on. And then of course it only lasted like 2 seasons and it got canceled and shit. But yeah, there is like the almost like a Kid Rock conservative, I would almost say. Because Kid Rock is a Trump guy. He's like a MAGA guy,
Yeah,
but
man.
he's got
He's based.
songs. He's
He's
got songs about like cocaine and being a pimp and running whores and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
Why
because
is
yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. Because that's where like it doesn't make any sense to me because like I keep hearing about like big like even like evangelical televangelists and like big like mega church guys, which is like a huge problem by the way that we don't actually talk about that much. Like making donations to the Trump administration.
well,
I like
it's
it
that
doesn't make
or
any sense to me. It's like
leftists.
he's the
Yeah,
worst. Trump is the worst Christian ever. It's
but
like
that's kind of the point.
why would
Is
you?
I view the people who are Christian or whatever. Number one, Trump makes all the right noises with his mouth, and number two, it's kind of even my mom, because she voted for Trump, and so did my dad. And I was like, hey, he's such a fucking asshole, and he's such a pig, and he said this, and he said that. And they were like, yeah, but you have to think about it from the Supreme Court picks alone. So that's why my mom voted for Trump, and she ended up from a conservative perspective, she ended up being completely right. Like, what did we get? Like two or three fucking Supreme Court picks out of it. So that there are reasons why people make these alliances, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what was your path? Like what like I could say in 2014, 2016, I was like a anti SJW feed that then led into kind of like the Vosh ContraPoints leftists were actually making sense for once instead of being a bunch of fucking triggered SJW dumbasses. So I started consuming other media. What was your journey?
Well, my first. eh, Okay, so I just want to preface this. I it's not like I went to any rallies or anything. I didn't really go to any rallies or well, actually, I'll get into that in a second. Um, I didn't really go into like big rallies or anything like that. I didn't go out and do any crazy stuff like that. Just like a lot of lurking on the internet and watching videos and stuff like that. I'd say like I guess from my earliest um encounter with politics was, my parents saying, don't trust Democrats, basically. Don't uh and then, that was like a long time ago, and then for a while, and then like, Trump got elected,
But
and
I'm
what
gonna
was
point
that?
I'm gonna point out something, and it's not to make you focus on it. It is
Yeah.
just to bring it up because I did it early in my streaming career, and I want to point it out just so you can have like a clear video. You are using the word a lot, and you're pausing in your prefaces. When you expand into greater ideas, you are flowing perfectly. There's no pauses, there's no breaks, there's no ums, there's nothing like that. But when you're like moving from tangent to tangent, there's a lot of ums, and it's not. I don't care. I do it too, but I just want to
Oh,
make sure that you're. Feel free. You're
that's not
amongst.
nice.
No, yo, you're amongst friends. We love you, and we want you like basically just think what you want to say and then fucking spit it out. And I am all fucking ears.
Yeah, I'm a little bit starstruck talking to you right now. Anyway,
Hey, I'm
yeah,
honored. I'm just a dickhead with the webcam. I promise.
sure. Uh, so yeah, so my parents were saying, don't trust Democrats, and that was like the seed in my head, basically, where it's like that, to plant that bias into my head. So once, Trump got elected, it was like I didn't really think about politics until Trump got elected, and like it was all in the news and stuff like that. I was going to Montclair. I was going to a university at the time, so big liberal bubble. Um, so everyone was like, mostly, like I'd say 99% of all the students were like really like upset about him when he got elected. Yeah, he got elected, and then I was in like I took an art degree. I have an art degree, and yeah, don't do that. Don't get an art degree. Just like you just go on YouTube and watch tutorials, and you'll get good, and like just you'll learn stuff.
Was it
Um,
in videography or was it in what was it in?
Actually, I want to do more editing, like video editing and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it's something I
Yeah,
can
I
I
did
can
I did
zen
some
with.
Premiere and some
Yeah.
Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. But like you said, a majority of the shit that I learned, I could have learned online. I spent a
Hmm.
lot of money on something I didn't necessarily need. It was fun though. It was fun.
Yeah. No. Yeah. College was pretty shitty, actually. All the I just wasted a shitload of money on train tickets, and yeah, it wasn't actually that fun. It wasn't that glorious or glamorous or anything like that. Um, so yeah, all the students were like all upset when Trump got elected, and I was like in a class where like they're like just complaining. They're complaining about the electoral college, and okay, the teacher was like, "Yo, if you guys," it was like almost like a special day almost, where like the teacher was like, it was a art professor, so he was like, "Hey, listen,
Probably
if you guys,
liberal.
if yeah, if yeah, um, if you guys, if you guys want to vent or complain about anything, yo, go ahead, do that." So, like, most, like, not, I'd say, like, went on for like 2 days. Like, the discussion about, like, everyone was complaining about, like, oh, the electoral college, and like I don't know. I don't think they talked about Russia that much. It was a lot of just like complaining about, like, the deportation and like immigration also, because that was the hot thing, was immigration at the time. Um, about how he was going to handle that, and yeah, and
Where was the what state was the college that you were in, if you don't mind my asking?
I live in New Jersey.
Okay.
I
Well,
probably
I
shouldn't
mean
have
that's
said
kind
that.
of your
Anyway,
fault for living in the Northeast, huh?
hey, listen, there's some nice areas in New Jersey. I'm in actually a really nice area.
I'm sure there
It's
is, but at the
no,
same
it's not what
time,
they say.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what I was gonna say is like there's a lot of people who are escaping. I'm down in Florida, so there's a lot of people who are running away because the way that I view the Northeast is number one, cost of living is super fucking high because it's all built up. Number
Mhm.
two, it seems like the government and the private institutions, they're just trying to get every single nickel and dime that they possibly can out of your pocket before you go broke. Whereas I'm down in Florida where it's kind of like it's a Darwinian hellscape and it's filled with like meth and alligators and fist fights and Walmart and all that kind of shit, but I am in a nicer area in Florida. And so what happens is Florida's fucking crazy, but we don't tax you as much and our cost of living isn't as bad. So we actually do have, we have like DeSantis, who's going to be probably going to be Trump's replacement if Trump doesn't run. And there's a more like libertarian bend to this state than the nanny state bullshit. But that is kind of funny. Like I also have this conception of New Jersey or the Northeast is the whereas the West Coast can be a little like libertarian because they're kind of like jokey and stonery and Surfside and all that kind of stuff. It seems like the Northeast is more like Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, like the institution, the Beltway. They all kind of like that shit. So does that line up where Northeasterners think they know better than everybody else and they like the institutions more than everybody else?
I think it's a little mixed. I don't know enough about the other states. I know I'm again, I'm in a liberal state. Um, I guess New Hampshire would be if you
Mm-hmm.
want to be a libertarian, go to New Hampshire,
Hell
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Live free or
Um,
die.
hell
I
yeah.
love that that's the state motto. It's like, welcome to New Hampshire. Wait, no, not wait. Did I get that wrong? No, is New Hampshire live free or die? It's Massachusetts, and then I want to say it's New Hampshire. Yeah.
Mm. I was a libertarian for about like a month, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized it was probably not viable.
Yeah, it sucks, right?
It's
The
just
so I would be a libertarian, but I want the state to enforce libertarianism on everybody.
true, true, true. All right, so about the college thing. So it was kind of weird because I was on the side of Trump, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yo, we won, we won, we won." And my parents were happy, obviously. So, and then, but I was feeling a little bit different because I was surrounded by a bunch of people that were really like, really progressive and liberal, and there were some people were saying, "Oh no, they're gonna come here and deport a bunch of immigrants, and they're gonna come and like." There's some girl that was like, she was like, I don't know, like she was white, but she was like, she had some Hispanic heritage. She was like, "Oh, I bet they're gonna come down and take me." Which no,
Right.
it's
Yeah. It's
like
like, are you a citizen? Then shut the fuck up.
are you a citizen? Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a reason for alarm, but I don't think that I don't know. I think that it was a little bit more surgical with the ICE raids, to be honest. Like as it went on through the presidency. But anyway, I felt like how like liberals like like SJWs like on like we'll say like they feel unsafe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was kind of feeling that way, being surrounded by people that I disagreed with. Um, and I guess I had this image in my head about immigrants, or like, of course, if they're illegal, they all got to go. They have to go, even if, we can't even give them a pathway to citizenship. They all have to go.
Mm-hmm.
I've sort of changed on that a little bit, but again, I
Mm. You broke up a little bit. Can you still hear me? Okay. Hmm. Your mic might have cut out. You might need to check your settings. One second. I'm gonna check my settings. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I'm still good on my end. Your end stopped for some reason though. Hey, technical difficulties. It happens to all of us. So, yeah, so just to give you guys my evening while he's setting up his stuff or whatever. So it's been a pretty good week, man. We did the fundraiser. We made some money. We had a good time, and then tonight was a little ad hoc, but unfortunately, like stuff has gotten pushed back because of booking and then family emergencies. And literally, my son could walk in at any moment. But we're pushing through. We're making content. We're having fun. I'm really excited to yeah. Still nothing. What about your OBS settings? So you're in your OBS. There should be like the mic button, and you can click on that and select which microphone it's going to be. Even if you had like a normal headset, we could do that too. Or if there's a mute button on your headset. Oh, one second. And then, Common, I'm just gonna keep talking until I hear you, okay, bud?
Eh,
So, oh,
Yo, oh wait,
heard you, heard you,
did you
heard
get
you.
it? Yeah,
Yep,
perfect.
nice. What happened? Did you trip on the cord?
I don't know, it just disconnected. I'm working off of like so like I said, like I was doing some on the ground journalism, like just asking people questions and like in town in like the local area and stuff. And I have like a rig that's like designed for just like walking around. I don't have a preamp right now. So I'm just working off this sort of like I've got this weird rig that's set up that's not exactly not probably not ideal at all.
Well, if it, I also I started on like an iPhone 6, just like ranting into the iPhone. So
Mhm.
we all start with our rig somewhere. So
Mm, mm.
yeah, but so you were saying you were going to the school, a bunch of liberals and progressives. They're all crying and kind of aching about Trump being president. You thought it was a good thing, but then you were feeling like, wow, like nobody else around me is like me, and some of these people seem to have exaggerated.
Yeah,
I would
so I
I
felt
would say exaggerated fears about what the Trump presidency is going to be.
so I felt like there was like something in the back of my head that's like saying something's wrong, and my thought in the back of my head was like, yeah, like there's probably people on campus that also voted for Trump, and they probably just just like kind of hiding in a way.
Hmm.
Like I had this image in my head, like people like God, this sort of like weird comic in my head where they're like, let's say you're on campus, there's like a bunch of Trump supporters, like, yo, we won. And a bunch of like other liberal kids just like turned around with their red glowing eyes and just like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just like were furious.
Hmm.
And then if I was a Trump supporter, I'd be scared. Yeah. Um, so that happened. I've got to speed through this a little bit faster. Um, hold on. So yeah, so it got to the point where like I I watched a video with Joe Rogan. I used to watch do you know Tool? This is another thing that hit me. You know
The
Tool, the
band.
band Tool?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Maynard, he like talks with Maynard a lot. He does like
Hmm.
interviews with Maynard. Like I remember like when they were talking about Trump being elected, like Maynard was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's a racist and a sexist and all that stuff." And I was angry. I was like, "Damn it. Something's wrong. Am I on the wrong side?" I threw my dinner across the room. Um Not cool. So I'm like, okay, is there anybody that agrees with me besides like my parents? And so like I went down the rabbit hole. Like I went to Sargon, Dave Rubin. I found those people.
Oh, Sargon is still kicking strong. In case you were worried, like I love Such an Atom. Did you catch that they were fighting earlier tonight?
Yes. Yeah, I like Such an Atom. I like them a lot. Sargon, I've kind of fallen away from Sargon now. The funny thing about Sargon is like, as like he's like his older videos, he was like back in the Gamergate days, he sounded really like pissed off, like
Hmm.
with Anita Sarkeesian and all that. But like it's really strange. Like he's as he gets more right wing. I know like yeah I know like the debate earlier today was like not as like he's pretty furious with that debate. But he
Hmm.
seems to like when he's doing Lotus Eaters and all that stuff, he seems a lot happier
Hmm.
and he's lost weight, so I'm glad for that. But
Oh yeah, Dave's
as he gets more right wing,
gets
he
more
gets happier,
aesthetic.
and it's really strange.
Well, so actually, I want to speak to that real quick. So the Sargon, what happened to me was I watched like I was passingly aware with like Sargon, and I would watch his like collaborative videos if he would ever talk to Shoe on Head or Chris Ray Gun or something like that. I would listen to those, and then I would also listen to some of his freeform stuff. But I would listen to that like passingly, like it would just be like one out of a dozen videos that I would watch that day. But then what I did was like, well, Sargon's a big character now. I think he's got a few 100K subs. He's successful. He's in my political ilk. I want to check out what he actually does. So I just started watching videos back to back to back to back. And what ended up happening was I was like, this motherfucker is literally finding Medium articles written by dumb like I write on Medium.
Mm,
Medium is a fucking it's a self-publishing site. So he was finding the most schizo posting fucking leftoid dumbasses and then
Mm.
acting like that was the entirety of the left. And I was like, okay, like if this motherfucker can do this shit, then you know I can do this shit basically. And I wasn't ready to do it at the time, but that's where I felt like he was just pulling on low hanging fruit, so I stopped listening as much.
Yeah, that's. I
And
wanted to get into something, get
no,
into
go ahead,
that in
please.
the future. No, I want to get into that later if we have
Okay.
time, or maybe another time,
No, we
whatever.
got time. I
But yeah,
can hang out for a
yeah, yeah.
while. But the point being that frustration, one, it solidified the fact that I wanted to do this stuff. Two, it kind of was like, this is low hanging fruit. Three, it was kind of like, he's not for me. Like he might be for other people, and I'll respect that, but he's not for me. So that's where I kind of kept it moving. But what I like about Sitch and Adam in particular is I feel like they kind of took up the mantle of what a sane anti SJW could be, where you're looking for information and you're looking for the arguments and you're looking for your opponent's counter arguments, and you might
Absolutely.
be hostile to socialism or communism or leftism or whatever, but you'll at least hear a motherfucker out.
Mm,
And that's what I like about them, because I think if they found a view that was potentially correct but contradicted their worldview, they would at least consider it without rejecting it out of hand. And that's what I like about them.
absolutely. Yeah. So I think like when it comes to like Stitch and Adam, I think that's like after um I found them like, and then I found them and then Destiny. Like it's hold on, I have to get to that in a minute. So what was I getting to?
Sargon's a dick.
Sargon, Sargon. Yeah, I found out like the Sargon rabbit hole, and yeah, I enjoyed watching Sargon, and I guess he had some good points at the time, and um, he's talking about like John Locke and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
he's not much of a
what else
liberal
did I
these
read?
days. I'm not gonna lie. Like
No, we used to be.
yeah, that kind of makes me sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and then at one point, I think I started watching more like also like more right wing stuff, like I know Ethan Ralph and stuff like that. Um, um, and there was like Charlottesville, and I sort of like sympathized with them, like when that was happening, and there was uh the debates with Richard Spencer, and there's like a bunch of streams like that. It all kind of like meshes together, so I don't remember all of it necessarily. But there was like I used to like watch a lot of the videos with like there was the Battle of Berkeley. There's a lot of like the riots that happened
Yeah,
during the
remember the alt night? I have
alt
a
night.
based stickman.
Or Space Stickman, yeah.
Yeah, I got some
Um,
base stickman, and then there was also that purple pigeon phase where like Pepe the Frog was banned on a lot of platforms, so they like replaced him with that purple pigeon emoji that was like
mm,
bouncing its head. Yeah, I was there for those days.
yeah. And there was Heat Will Not Divide Us with Shia LaBeouf,
Oh
whatever.
man. Okay,
There's that.
so
I followed that whole thing. Mr.
all right.
Medicare.
If there's
Uh,
hold on, I gotta share that real quick with this was like the really shit posty Kekistani days. These are the ones that I kind of almost miss actually. So Shia LaBeouf, as soon as Trump gets elected, he will not divide us art display, and it's a live cam in New York, I want to say, and like it's just people standing in front of the camera saying he will not divide us, kind of like a religious cult. But like Shia LaBeouf's been losing his mind for a while, so he kind of looks like he's fucking schizoid and losing it. Well, a bunch of right wing shit posters keep showing up and basically trolling the art installation. So Shia LaBeouf moves the "He Will Not Divide Us" live cam from a camera that's showing on the art display in New York to like a random place in like Tennessee or some shit, and it's showing a flag that says "He will not divide us." Well, a bunch of fucking autists from fucking 4chan literally like tracked the plane trajectories and times of day for the plane in order to find the flag, and then they fucking showed up and stole the flag.
mm,
So if it seems like I enjoyed that too much, it's just because there was a reactionary, and by reactionary I just mean, hey, here's all the horrible shit the left is doing, and we're against this, and fuck them, and we're gonna troll them. There was a moment of that time that I would say was probably pre-Charlottesville, and then I would say after Charlottesville was really like the schism for a lot of people between more
mm,
like reactionary liberal and libertarian folks versus people who were either ethno-nationalists or Christian nationalists. I would say Charlottesville was a really big
As a
moment.
divider.
Yeah. So yeah. So where did you land? I guess.
Where did I land? Wait, when Charlottesville happened?
No, you were kind
Or
of
like,
saying that you were playing in those spaces for that time and found those people, and then what happened?
yeah. God, it's actually really hard. There's like a gap that I actually don't remember
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of just like all meshes together.
Mm-hmm.
So oh yeah, Tim Pool, right? I followed a lot of Tim Pool. It's really weird because like at the same time that I would watch like things with like the Ethan Ralph stuff, and then I would also watch the Tim Pool stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time when like Tim Pool was on the ground, he was actually like covering a lot of these, before he built his like his bunker secret mansion castle thing.
Yeah.
Like I was, he actually did a lot of stuff. He was hanging out with Lauren Southern
Mm-hmm.
a lot too.
Good
Or
friend of
they
the
would like
show,
sort of like
Lauren
meet
Southern.
there. Yeah, yeah. Um, and then yeah, so there was like this sort of like push and pull that would happen. And I think this is good in a way because I would watch like right wing stuff. And at the time, like Tim Pool wasn't as like he wasn't as like doomer. He wasn't as like, oh, like everything's screwed.
Yeah, he needs to
And
leave his
where
bunker. He needs
like
to touch some
society is
grass.
yeah. Well, I mean, he touches the grass in his yard. Does that count?
Well, good for him, but I think he needs some more, basically.
Sometimes he hits the pavement. He skateboards. Sometimes he hits the pavement.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's better than just Doomer posting on Twitter all day. I'll tell you that.
Mm,
So.
sure, sure. Tim, just get off Twitter. Stop it. He even says get off Twitter, and he's still on Twitter. Yeah. So like, there's like this push and pull where like I would watch Temple because he wasn't as like clickbaity with his titles and stuff when he was doing the on the ground stuff. You just like cover it and be a little more neutral about it.
Hmm.
And I would watch that stuff, and he would do his like thing, like his reports, like his daily report videos or whatever.
Hmm.
And then that would be sort of like pulling back to the center. And then there was the Ethan Ralph and the stuff that and the more right wing stuff that would pull me towards the right and make me, I guess, like Trump's base, all that stuff, like you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And then obviously Tim Pool like got his $1 million. Um, and like Jordan Peterson, and then there was like the Evergreen stuff
Hmm.
that happened, like the Evergreen State College
The
meltdown.
Weinstein brothers. Yeah.
Brett Weinstein, and that was like the point where I realized, oh yeah, you don't have to be like a conservative to be anti SJW,
Hmm.
because like you can be like a normal person, and be like, yo, this is weird.
Hmm.
But again, I'm still a little upset that it didn't get bigger coverage. There was Vice, to their credit, did coverage on Evergreen. Um, but yeah, that was like you don't have to be a conservative to be anti SJW, to be honest. Um,
Well, that's kind of
and
what.
th-
Sorry, go
there
ahead.
was there was more like, and like there was like kind of like almost like a cascade of like different colleges that had the same situation, not as bad, but not as like widely covered, but like similar. Like there's like in like the James Lindsay and all that. Was it there's a couple
I
people. God damn,
remember
I wish
they
I had a
they did
list.
the SoCal Squared where they created a
It's so
bunch of
cool.
like fake papers that were accepted in left wing circles by like peer academic journals, but they were absolutely fucking ridiculous premises and ridiculous methodology. And so yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's a couple other people. There's Jody Shaw at Smith College. There's Paul Rossi at another like it's like a more Christian college,
Hmm.
but I think it was like a Christian college that went a little bit woke. And then there was Aaron Kinesvatter, who is probably he wants to keep a lower profile. So
Hmm.
those are some examples. And there was like the Oberlin College thing, and then there's like Nicholas Christakis. I think that was another dude when it was like the Halloween and the cultural appropriation stuff went down.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and then he got fired. There's like a bunch of people that resigned because they were pressured to resign because, people
because
like
they,
a
they
couple
they
people
told their
complained.
students to
Yeah,
stop being such fucking pussies about cultural appropriation. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
and
that.
they were angry. Yeah. Oh yeah. So and all that stuff happened. So and then I went to there was one event that I went to, and I said that I didn't go to any rallies, but the closest thing that I went to was there was a Sargon event in New York City,
Mm.
and God damn, I wasted so much money. I
Well,
wasted
fuck
so
it.
much money going that. So yeah, so
Fuck
it
it.
was Sargon and Tim Pool. So Sargon, Tim Pool, and this guy named Bunty King.
Yeah, I remember Bunty
Yeah,
King.
Bunty. And yeah, oh God, I feel like that was a waste of time. It was an event called like the Ideological Collapse of the Left. That was the name of it. And I met a couple people there, and they said that they promised they would buy us all drinks, but that never happened. And it took me maybe like, I don't know, 2 hours to just get a handshake and a hug from Sargon.
Mhm.
And by the time that I got to Sargon and I left, I didn't realize that the trains in New York that they stopped for a couple hours, and I
Mhm.
was stuck going to a hotel and sleeping like in a fetal position. I'm not a fan of big cities. Makes you feel worthless. So
Yeah.
it was very like um bad experience for me overall. I thought it'd be
No, New
cool, but
York is
it wasn't.
fucking claustrophobic as shit. Yeah,
You know.
100%.
Yeah. So
So,
that was that. Yeah. What's up?
oh no, I was just gonna ask you. So, what's the thread, and where are you at these days? Because obviously, I have this problem myself, and I try to just articulate the way that I view things as well as I can. Probably in a lot of ways, I'm a liberal because I want
Yeah.
a state and I want people to kind of live and let live. And I like a state that espouses liberal principles like freedom of conscience and the right to self defense and limited government.
Mm.
But then I get really frustrated with liberals because liberals are Democrats and
I have
they're
a
fucking.
question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a question. Do you think that the Second Amendment is a liberal value?
That's a hard one, right? If you
It,
mean
it feels like you should. Yeah.
if you mean liberal in like a historical sense that it defends liberal rights
I
and
don't know, like the
individual
individual right to
rights,
own a weapon, like to defend yourself.
yeah, then
Right?
then it's
Yeah,
liberal in that
that makes
case. But
sense.
if you mean if it's liberal in the modern political sense, then unfortunately the answer is no, right? So that kind of sucks,
That's really sad. Mhm.
right?
Well,
Yeah, yeah. So then I'll have
I
those
blame that on
things.
Sean Hannity, to be honest.
What's that?
I guess I blame that on Sean Hannity, like poisoning liberal, like the
Mm-hmm.
word. It's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I blame that on Fox News, to be honest.
Well, but then I
Like
blame
toxifying the word liberalism.
I blame people like Sargon though, who were like, "Oh, I'm a classical liberal," but then they moved their positions without necessarily moving their labels. So now, if you
Well,
say that you're a classical liberal, or if you say you're a liberal, or if you say you're a centrist, then it's a lot of people really don't like that a lot.
if you last time I remember, like if you talk to Sargon and ask him about John Locke, he'll say that he's starting to reject his principles. That's
Yeah.
all I remember. You
Well,
know,
and but
he'll
that's
tell you that.
well, and that's fine. But the problem that I have is it actually is very much highlighted in the conversation that Sitchin, Adam, and Sargon had today. That's actually like exactly my problem because it seems like Sargon believes in order to counter progressivism and socialism, you have to have something harder, and that harder thing is probably going to be flirtations with like Christian nationalism or ethno nationalism. I'm not saying Sargon is doing
Mm.
that, but I am saying that he seems a lot more comfortable with those kinds of people than he was like 5 years ago. And he seems a lot more comfortable with like realpolitik and not viewing liberalism as an ideology worthy of defense.
Mm.
Because I think that a lot of people on the right are finding that liberalism isn't aggressive enough. It doesn't protect liberal values aggressively
Well,
enough.
yeah, I think that's one of the flaws with liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it deserves to be protected. But I think one of the major flaws with liberalism, it leaves itself open to bad actors
Right,
that can take advantage of it
right.
and undermine it. Like again, like with like we can get into CRT and all that stuff. I think that's one of the fronts that we're fighting on. It's like the whole like CRT thing when when like people like James Lindsay say that it's like anti-liberal, that it's trying to take advantage of liberalism to into like well, I no,
No, I
I
agree
can't
with it.
necessarily say
I
that, but
agree with that completely.
yeah.
So I had a guy, his name's Counter Revolution, on the program a while ago, and he was kind of talking about the academic through line between Gramscian cultural revolutionary theory, some of the Frankfurt School people who followed him, and leftist thinkers, and then ultimately ending in CRT. And it's not like a Jewish conspiracy theory about like the manipulations of lizard people on the world. It's literally like, hey, here's this academic who debated this academic, and here's the
Mm.
academic philosophy that they argue for. And that it's as simple as that. And then here's the next generation of academics who built on this idea. So to deny that it's leftist in origin is like, if you say that, you're either ignorant or you're fucking lying. Like, there's only two options. And then I think there's people who are liberals. Like, I would think that Jangles Science Lad, for instance, is a social democrat or a liberal. And he has defended CRT. Not because I think he's like some fucking commie simp, but because I think he
Yeah.
doesn't know that there's this underlying leftist anti liberal bullshit
Yeah.
that makes some aspects of CRT extremely toxic.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that everyone who's debated, like between James Lindsay and Adam, I think they went a little bit too hard on Jangles.
Yeah,
To be
I
honest,
think
I don't.
Jingles he gets a beer or two in him, and he gets a little bit lippy, and he's from Kentucky, so he likes to fight.
Yeah.
So if you're coming at somebody, if you're coming at Jingles aggressive, he's going to come back at you aggressive, and it doesn't make for a good conversation. So that's unfortunate because I know and like Jangles, and I also
Mm.
know and like Such an Adam a lot. As a matter of fact, I know I'm kind of simping for him tonight a little bit or whatever, but tonight was actually a very solid showing of them where I thought for clout they could have bent the knee to Sargon and they could have been like, oh well, you know, I see what you're saying and I appreciate you coming on and I guess I can see, but that's not how it went at all. Fucking Sitch was like, fuck you.
Mhm.
This is how I see it. And then
I'm glad Sitch went in hard.
yeah, and then Adam was
Mm.
like, he was like, Sargon, listen, it's getting a little heated, but I see what Sitch is saying.
Oh,
What are
I see.
you
They
saying?
switched good cop, bad cop. They switched. Yeah. I
but
actually
that's
I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
have a lot of respect for them as creators because I think that we all get sucked into the dynamics of clout where we play a little bit nicer with the people that we want to maintain relationships with. So it was actually refreshing and heartening to see that they weren't going to bend their principles just to appeal to somebody who's on their side, quote unquote. So that
Mm.
was refreshing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yeah. So what's it talking about? Shit.
Well, we are kind of talking about your evolution through different creators and
Oh yeah.
kind.
So I want to get. Yeah. I want to like. I gotta top this off real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Like I did get into like the CRT and stuff like that. There was a point where I switched, and this is like there was the point where I actually do have notes here to be honest. Like so. See, a lot of this stuff had to do, like, again, from like where my bias began would have to do with, my parents, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it does like affect my relationship with my parents.
Hey
I try to be close to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a big family, to be honest. Yeah, there was like a lot of stuff in between that I don't remember, but um, there was, I guess we can just fast forward to like, George Floyd and the COVID stuff and George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
where all that stuff happened, where like Evergreen, you can see like what happened in Evergreen a couple of years ago, and that sort of kind of just expanded to the rest of the country. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Um,
if you
a lot of
mean that
a lot of the
the
rhetoric seemed to have expanded into like the mainstream.
yeah, if
Um,
you mean there was like more acceptance of like woke progressivism or liberalism, or not even liberalism, woke
I think
progressivism or leftism, then yeah,
I
100%.
mean, there's probably something of value to come out of it, but again, overall, I was against it,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess in some cases, I still am against it. Um, just because I'm not a right winger anymore doesn't mean I, still hold some like of their values or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was like the discussion and with police brutality, and there's like all the like almost like okay, there was what really pissed me off was the pressure. Like I think the worst offender was when people were like, "Oh, post a black square on Instagram to show you." Like, group solidarity, I think, is a little bit cringe.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I was like, "This is stupid." And it's like, but that um, I that pissed me off a little bit because I kind of felt out of place. Like it's like, okay, COVID's happening, but all these riots are going on, and then after there was like all this in the system and like the institutions were all saying, "Oh, we got to fight just because of this situation." I don't know if you like watched. Did you watch Did you watch like the body cam footage of the incident with George
Of
Floyd at
George
all?
Floyd? Yeah.
Yeah, you watched the body cam footage. Has that changed your opinion of it at all, or
Yeah,
was
so
it still like?
I think the cops were less malicious in the beginning interaction, and they clearly like they didn't think like George Floyd was a oh I'm gonna kill this guy fucking evil fucking black guy. Like all that's like
Mm.
clearly bullshit. But
Yeah, okay, what?
mhm. Oh, so what I was gonna say though is that my main issue with it is positional asphyxia. It's something that I've talked about
Mm,
before. But basically, if you put pressure on somebody's diaphragm, and this is something that at least in Florida we're trained about, is if you put pressure on somebody's diaphragm and they got their handcuff behind their back, if they're lying on their belly, especially overweight people and people with like asthma and breathing issues, they can basically asphyxiate. And people who are on drugs
mm.
are also extremely susceptible to this. So that cop, the main guy, I forget his name, but the main guy had been on the force
Chauvin?
for like yeah, Chauvin. He'd been on the
Yeah.
force for like 20 or 30 years. So 20 or 30 years ago, I don't know if they have this training. I also don't know if in Minnesota they have this training. But in the state of Florida, it's like standard, like state standard that we talk about this and you don't put somebody's belly unless necessary. I've seen cops violate this in the state of Florida. They should know better and they don't. And so what's frustrating for me for that is I think between positional asphyxia and putting your knee on the neck, it is gross negligence. I don't think it's murder. I don't think he
Mm.
should serve life, but I think it should be equivalent to manslaughter. And
Yes,
that's
yes,
that's kind of where I landed with the entire situation was he was negligent, but it wasn't malice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. Like I lost a couple of friends from just saying like I don't think it was murder. I think it was manslaughter. Like the intent. Like I was, after watching the body cam footage, like let's walk back the intent for a minute. I don't think there's necessarily a racial bias to it.
Mhm.
But again, I think it was like a negligent act
Right.
for what happened. Yeah. So, and even like saying this, I lost a couple of friends just saying that. You know,
Yeah. Well, and that can be
It w-
frustrating
it-
because you feel like you're being punished for basically acknowledging
I
reality.
was just being honest and specific about what happened. It's like,
Hmm.
I hate when like these activists play with people's emotions and again like grossly misrepresent crime statistics.
Hmm.
That's what kind of made me furious about the whole thing.
Mm. Well, so yeah,
Uh,
so let's get into that. The interesting thing about that for me is what was like, it was really easy in my Sargon reactionary days to just be like 1350. Like of course, like they black folk
I mean,
commit a dis
yeah.
yeah, it's true, right? But then what happens, what I really liked about Destiny and Vosh as debaters is they were like, yeah, 1350, but why? And that was like an interesting thing because I was like, oh shit, like, you know,
Yeah.
we could be
It's like
problem
it's
focused.
like, what are you gonna do with that data?
Right.
You know, how are you
And
going
if
to interpret it?
yeah, and if the data is just like, okay, black people are genetically inferior and they're doomed to fucking permanently fuck over people, like then that doesn't do anything for society at all. Whereas if you're willing to say 1350 because like everything's a combination of nature and nurture. I don't give a fuck. Okay, like somebody could cancel me and say like, oh, you're implying there's a biological component. Yeah, there's a biological component to fucking everything. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the environment has been optimized where people are getting a fair shake in order to become the best human beings that they possibly can become. And
Mm,
so, if the point of bringing up 1350 is to say, hey, the environment's fucked up, a lot of these kids are growing up in fucked up environments. How do we optimize their living situations in order to create the best citizens of the United States possible? I think it's perfectly fine to bring up 1350. Whereas if you're
mm,
bringing up 1350 just say, oh, black people suck, ha 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 ha, then fuck you, and that's kind
mhm.
of where I land on that.
I think a lot of like what's going on with like in I guess at least in pop culture to rectify this sort of like inequality
Mm-hmm.
is to handle these situations at the top end, like with like hiring and all that stuff and representation. I think it's
Yeah, or
happening
government
on the top end
policy, or
rather
yeah.
than instead of like the bottom up and like giving them a good foundation, like these people in inner cities. I think they need a good foundation. They don't have that, obviously. And is that really happening? Like, especially like all the money that's been going to these, organizations with BLM that affiliate with BLM, the movement at least. Like, are we sure? Is this really going to the foundation for to address the inequality that's going on? Is the question. You know.
Right, and that's where for me the one of my frustrations is I think we spend a lot of time in the political sphere, Twitch and YouTube, which I love. I love doing this. I love talking to people about politics. I love talking to people about our society and where we want to go. And but my frustration is that like there's a shitload of energy that we spend, money and energy that we spend on our creators that I think that if even a fraction of the energy that we spend on this like battle of wits was spent on trying to improve the community, while we might not like change the entire fucking system, you could at least get some kids a little bit more help than they had before. You could get them a little bit more of a support structure. You could get some people some food. You could help people out in a disaster relief, kind of situation. So that's my frustration with online politics as it currently exists is I
Mm.
think people like Vosh, Hassan,
Hassan.
Sargon, Lauren, all of these people have incredible power and influence. And if they were willing to wield that for the good of the world, I think that they could improve it.
Mm.
Dude.
I laughed. The reason I laughed before is because I was thinking of Hassan.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love
Is
the
like two hundred
multimillionaire. I
is
can't do anything
20,000
thing.
viewers.
Yeah, it's like, bitch,
Yeah.
you got enough money to actually make like real material good. If he wanted to start, start a cooperative business,
Co-op.
I know that's a little bit of a meme, but if he wanted to start a cooperative business or a nonprofit, or if he wanted to contribute to the Democratic Socialists of America, or if he wanted to back some candidates or something like that, he's in the class that is capable of doing that.
Or demonstrate it.
So
Just do it. Go out and do it.
yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where the I know individualism isn't going to save us all, but I also
Mm.
really hate the learned helplessness of online politics, where it's like nothing can change because I'm just one person,
Well,
and it's like, all
I
right,
mean, that's again like
fucking lame.
that's why I wanted to do like the local stuff.
Yeah,
I guess we can agree with that. Yeah. And again, you talk about that too. You wanted to start like an outreach program or some kind of thing like
yeah.
with your
So
Discord.
yeah, so right now, we did the fundraiser with Ukraine. That seemed like a little bit immediate, but the long-term goal is we built a second Discord with what I think is decent infrastructure to allow us to coordinate local event and aid and charity and all that kind of stuff in order to get people who spend hours, days, weeks of their lives bitching about politics actually involved in their local communities. So that's what I'm hoping for, is even on a minute level, like I said, if it's just like people tutor some kids one
Mm,
time a month, that's better than what we're doing right now, you know?
absolutely. I want to talk about the local stuff for a second. So that's something that I've also been doing is like going out to like again, you know, like town council meetings basically. It can be boring, like a lot of it can be boring, but there's some like high points and stuff like that. And again, I may have told you it I may have said like, there's a lot of boomers
Mm-hmm.
in these places, especially in my town. There's a lot of boomers in these like just like sitting in these councils. It kind of varies between like with the adjacent towns next to me. There are some more progressive um towns. Like it kind of varies again. Like there's a town like there's some meetings with a bunch of boomers, and there's some more like that are a little bit more closed off when it comes to like when they was it like when they complain to the town, like when they
Yeah, the town hall meetings.
hey, when they'll like give them a few minutes to like express their grievances and all that. And there's like one town that's adjacent to me that it's like the freaking mall capital of the United States, to be honest. Um, and yeah, it's funny because their council meeting is a little bit more open. They actually like it's a little bit like they don't just like have people like stand up and talk. They'd be like, "Yo, what's anyone got any questions?" Like, I think it's a little bit more open. Like, I popped in there like one day, and they're like, "Yo, you got anything to say?" So I just asked them about, "Yo, I got a question about like recycling," because they were doing a bag ban. Like, they're banning plastic bags, and like in New Jersey, there's a mandate to ban plastic bags. And they revoked that during COVID, but then they reinstated it, I think. But hey, just like, yo, there's a freaking like a few towns over from us. There's a machine that recycles styrofoam. Like, what's your opinion on that? So it's a little bit more open, depending
Well,
on
these
yeah.
these things, so they feel marginal, but
Like,
as an example, the local city council or whatever that I'm in, they just approved a bunch of new housing for single family dwelling quarter acre lots in order to go into what was a forest that's in the middle of like major urban sprawl. And so for me, it's like, okay, losing the forest, that's a little sad. Some little forest creatures are going to have to run away and get displaced and possibly killed. That sucks. But if we were going to look at the world and look at like the totality of everything that's going on, potentially global warming, potentially environmental
mm,
catastrophe, underpopulation and overpopulation at the same time. So we're literally like we're getting underpopulated because we're not having enough kids, and we're simultaneously
mm,
overpopulated because urban density is so fucking
mm.
bad. It's the weirdest fucking problems. So why can't we plan
Build new
the
towns.
well, yeah,
Build.
why can't we design the towns of the future? Why the fuck are we building old shit that we know is expensive and isn't efficient? And so that's where for me it's like, what are we doing here? You know?
Do you think that might be like a little bit like a problem for like um the native indigenous people? Like or is there enough land that isn't that that's a question I've had about that. Like a sort of contentious question I've had was like, yeah, I want to build new towns, but what if it encroaches on like native land or something like that? That's something like what do you think about that?
Native Americans or local people who have been living there for a few generations.
I mean, it's a big country, so there's a lot of open space still.
Right,
But
right, right, right.
a
Yes.
lot of that will
Yes.
is like indigenous land, right?
Yeah, so for us though, there's only 10, so the in Florida what's reserves is untouchable. That's theirs. We can't fuck with that. What is left though I think there's only 10% of developable land left in the state of Florida, meaning that we really only have so much more to develop.
Mm,
My frustration is that, like, yeah, you're right. Like, you go up to Georgia, there's just miles of undeveloped countryside that technically could be new suburbs for new people. But how do we build those towns to deal with, for instance, like loneliness or
mm,
old people? I deal with old people all the time because I deal with insurance and contractors. So I deal with shitloads of old rich people who
mm.
have 2,000 square foot homes and they're living by themselves and they will die by themselves. And they will talk to me on the phone for longer. And I talk to them on the phone for longer because they're just looking for like human contact and shit.
Mm.
So the my point with that being is we could design communities. Leftists talk about the box, basically like a giant high density box that everybody could live in or whatever. I
I don't know
think
what that
there's
is.
yeah. So it's a for me it's a nightmare. But what they're just talking about like a really large apartment building. That way everybody can that you're efficient with your resources and the way human beings live. But for me, you could design human habitation in such a way for community where you make it walkable, where you make
Mm.
it so if you wanted to go see your grandparents, you could walk to fucking see them because they're in the same living complex as you.
I
And
think you went
so,
over this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I
yeah,
remember you talking about this.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
so,
you,
so
you did mention this. Yeah.
basically, yeah. All to say, I feel like a lot of our systems are on autopilot. A lot of the younger generation has checked out. And ultimately, it is going to be up to millennials and Zoomers to not just talk about this shit on Twitch politics, but also to get into local and city government and start implementing change. Because I'm in my
Mm.
30s now. I'm not a young man anymore. I can pretend to be a young man, but I'm fucking not. I'm getting old as shit.
Mm.
So it is going
How
to
old
be
are
up
you?
to us to change things. So I'm in my mid 30s.
Yeah, I'm 33. Yep,
Yeah, we're not far off.
33. That's fine. Okay, so I want to top this off real quick. Um, so I think it was like 2020 where I'm just gonna go to like the CRT stuff. So there was Trump had just and I was happy at the time. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Trump was like, yo, CRT sucks, it's racist and whatnot. I'm a little I feel like I don't want it to be him that that brings it to the forefront, to be honest. But that's another discussion. Um, but I was glad at the time, and I was sort of like, again, like on that warpath against the OCRT sucks and whatnot. And I still believe that in some respect. But there's one point on Twitter where it kind of changed me. There was some like lady, she was, she's black, and she was making a comment about, she was defending CRT. I don't know if she read up on CRT or not, because anyone who like seems to say that's not CRT seems to also not know what it is because they haven't read the literature or not. But
Yeah, it's never
she said
CRT, is
something,
it?
and I said something really nasty. I was like, I said like, I don't know if I want to say it.
Hmm.
I don't know if I
Well,
want to say it.
if it's the N word, you can just bleep it out.
Oh no, I didn't say the N word. I said the B word.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
I said I'm sick of angry black bees. Getting angry because okay, I want to get into this for a second because I want to justify why I said this. Is because, what was going on with, like, after like, the George Floyd, riots and the uprising and all that, was that it was making, and this is what really bothers me, is the way that they say that, white people can't be racist and all that I mean, oh, I'm sorry, black people can't be
Cannot be.
racist,
Yeah, it can't be
black people
racist.
can't be racist, and it sort of gives I would say a certain group of people, a degree of freedom to
Bigoted
be
sacks of shit.
really nasty to to people like that look like me, and that infuriated me, and it infuriated a lot of people. Um, so that was me lashing out basically. There was like this one video on YouTube where it was like a college campus where she came in and said like, "Yo, this is like a black space, and this isn't like there's too many white people here, and we gotta go." And I was sort of like like channeling that sort of fury, like my reaction to that fury onto this woman that I didn't know who she was, Um, and and I got a strike for it. I said I'm sick of angry black bees getting away with like saying nasty shit to white people or whatever. So I can't remember what it was. I'm kind of embarrassed about it, but I got a strike for it, and I kind of reflected on like, yo, something I gotta walk this back. I can't talk like this anymore. I guess that was like sort of the start. And then flash forward, I watched some like I don't know, like there's a bunch of other stuff that happened, and then I watched some Destiny videos, and then there was like videos on I watched some Destiny videos, and I used to not like Destiny, but now I do. I do like him. I think he's super galaxy brain, whatever.
Well, he's always entertaining when he's going after people that you don't like.
Yeah,
it's not
and there was a
it's not as entertaining when he's going after people you like.
yeah, there was like something that like changed me, and I is like I what I do is like what I have been doing more recently is like I don't I come to my own conclusions about things. I just don't accept the like when someone tells me something, I don't accept the conclusion immediately, and I have to like think about it for a bit. But
Hello, hello, hello.
I watched
Sorry,
it.
the chat was complaining about volume, so I'll just get closer to the mic. So
Alright.
people in chat, go ahead and at me with the volume again if it's better.
Oh, it's on you?
Yeah, it's but it's okay.
It's
Should be fine.
nice. It's not me. At least it's not me.
Well, I'm a fucking boomer. They're fucking used to it now.
Can I make a comment about you, by the way?
Sure, go ahead.
When you read when you get super chats, you'll get the TTS.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get the TTS and like look at the TTS and make a comment, but then you'll read the super chat later on and then make a separate comment. That's some boomer shit right there, man.
Yeah, well, so we've integrated it like 3 fucking times where chat is showing up while I'm doing it on OBS. And then I updated OBS again, and now I don't have chat integration. So literally it's just you and me on the screen, so I can't see fucking chat. So I literally got to open up like a separate window to do it. I hate how often I change nothing, and yet my software programs are always fucking changing, doing stream shit. It pisses me off, and I'm really jealous of professionals like Vosh and Destiny who can dedicate their entire week to streaming, number one, but also tech setup, research, scripting, and shooting. If I could do this shit independently, I feel like I would be one of the best fucking YouTubers out there, but I don't have enough time in the week.
Well, at least you didn't leave your washer and dryer on. I'm talking about Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Destiny. Oh yeah, so speaking of Destiny, yeah, I like there's like a point where I watched some Destiny videos and I'm like, okay. And like this is like the change that basically happened.
Mm.
Um um there's something that he was debating some right winger. I think it was I don't know if it was about the vaccine or something, but I think it had to do with something with like how the government um I have to do with like how the government like government spending like how like we have social programs and all that stuff and how it's like tax dollars and subsidizing and like I think it had something to do with like subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
And I made this comment and I just want to read it off for a second and I want to know if you agree with me. This is
Okay.
why it changed. Okay, so saying life isn't fair as a response to people demanding certain government policies is a bit of a cop out. The state provides services to the people and subsidies for other services that we've taken for granted for decades. So, if the state started removing those services one by one, how long would it take until those people started thinking, like, this isn't fair?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, like, what do you think about that? Like, there's like this threshold where like people,
Was that
where like we
your
take
comment or his comment?
this is my comment because this is after I watched a Destiny video and it's sort of like
No,
I was like,
I
well, I'm
agree
not a
with
right
you.
winger anymore. I'm not a right winger anymore because I thought about it and I'm like, yo, something ain't right.
Yeah,
So,
so the question is we put in this comes down to a fundamental question of do people exist to serve the economy or does the economy exist to serve people?
mm,
And the answer is obviously both, but there's got to be a balance here. And so a lot of right wingers answer people exist to serve the economy, but then they don't really realize what that means because oftentimes they're at a higher tier. So they're in the middle class or the upper class. So they can work, 40 to 60 hours a week, pay their bills, get access to nice material goods and some vacations, and they're good to go. Whereas there's a lot of people who work as hard as they do, meaning that they put in like 40 to 60 hours a week at a job that they don't like, but they never get to go on vacation. They never have health insurance. They never have anything. And a lot of those people are waking up and they're saying it is unfair. I am literally dedicating my entire life to a institution not of my making, to make not enough money in order to survive, and then I'm reliant on either government subsidization or handouts in order to survive. I don't feel dignified in my existence, and I am going to live and die making minimum wage.
Mm,
And on one hand, I do think from if you are that person, then the libertarians are correct, which is basically get good, right?
mm,
Get an education, take care of your shit, plan out your week, think about what you want in life, pursue your goals. Okay, I think the right wingers are correct on an individualistic perspective,
mm,
but if we're asking, should our society have people who will never retire, never have any dignity, never have health insurance, never have this, never have that? No, especially when we know there's other models that are different.
mm,
So for instance, like I don't think socialism. I'm not a leftist. I'm an anti-leftist. I don't think
mm,
socialism fixes any of the problems it purports to fix. I don't think communism has succeeded anywhere on the globe. I'm an anti-fucking leftist.
mm,
But I think mixed economy capitalism, whether in there's a degree between the United States and fucking Norway, it's somewhere in the middle, right?
mm,
We have to have defense. We have to protect global trade and global goods, but we also have to be able to provide for our people on the home front where they get a decent education, they can get health care if they need it, and they can retire and die with some level of dignity. And if our economy isn't set up to do that, then there's a fucking problem.
mm. Yeah. I guess we can get into good discussions like that in in the future. Um,
Yeah, I do have
if-
probably another 10
how
minutes
many
or
minutes?
so.
Yeah, 10 minutes. No, no, I mean like not now.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I guess I should pretty much wrap this up. So yeah, it's pretty much
No,
like
and
kind of where I
I'm
am
not
right
saying
now.
that we have to wrap it up. I'm just saying that I got like 10 minutes before my wife's going to stab me.
So yeah, as I say, yeah, I argue with my dad more.
Hmm.
I prod him with questions, and um, I don't know if he's mad or not, but
Well, you got to
s-
be respectful, but
yeah,
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 I
that's what
think
I try to do. Yeah, so yeah, again, like I used to be anti-vax for like maybe I was libertarian for a month. I followed a couple of people like, do you know Carlin Borsenko?
yes.
Yeah, she's a yeah. I used to follow her for a while. I think she's done. I'm kind of torn on her because she's done some things that were kind of
She
like
seems nice. Like I
yeah. I
mean,
think she's
I
like
don't like a
too
lot of her
ideological.
takes, but she seems
Yeah,
nice.
she did something very strange, which is like she made a video where oh
Did
god,
you
I'm
like
throwing
the
her under the
Hitler
bus.
comment? I fucking love that. That was great.
Oh, I'm not even like I'm not.
Hitler's in heaven. I fucking love
Yeah,
that.
that's weird. She's weird. No, there's another thing where there's a video where she was wearing a Gadsden hat.
Okay.
Um, and she was talking. What do you think about cameras in classrooms? Because this is a reaction to CRT.
Hell yeah, like hell no. Like no. Like no no, we don't
Hell yeah!
need
Was that
cameras
hell
in
yeah?
classrooms.
You say
No.
hell yeah?
No
No,
cameras
you
in
did.
no okay. If sounded like I said hell yeah, no. Hell no. Cameras should not be in classrooms.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. No, but this is strange because she was wearing a Gadsden hat in a video where she was advocating for cameras in classrooms, and I thought that was really strange. And
That's like that's hilarious. But see that's where like I wonder like
how does that work?
these people like how do they have no sense of like self-awareness or irony like you're wearing a Gadsden flag which is obviously libertarian and you're fucking talking about literally putting in cameras to make sure whatever anyways sorry
And I understand that public schools are being undermined by
the
woke
Soviets
people,
by
but
the communists by the
so
CRT
sure.
which I agree with but I think that should be up to like the students to complain to get to the parents to complain to the school for the school to address like I don't think putting cameras in fucking classrooms is the way to go where literally everybody we already have enough of like a weird ass fucking Orwellian security state as is we don't need to make it even weirder thanks
Mm,
appreciate it
yeah. So I want to get back to something about. Okay, so I want to wrap this up real quick.
Hmm.
So yeah, I used again. So I guess I'm an ex-Trump supporter or whatever. Um, but I want to mention something um about. Okay, so just to give you like an understanding of like when I was like I guess like during like all the Berkeley stuff that happened and like the first
Hmm.
like, couple of years of Trump's. And I think like a lot of this is I guess this is my conclusion. So a lot of people, I feel like they have this like Trump supporters, they have this this parasocial relationship because they'll say that
Hmm.
he won because of memes, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Meme Magic won
yeah, meme
Trump's
magic and all that stuff.
2016 presidency. Yeah, I think it's
It's
true too.
a lot of people have this parasocial relationship, and this is with like I guess with any like leader or whatever.
Hmm.
They'll project a like this. They'll project onto them, have this parasocial relationship with them, where you know, and is Trump really winking back at them? Does he really care about their their interests really, or does he just care about himself? And you know what I mean?
It seems to be he cares about other people insofar as they will care about him in return. And
Mm,
it seems like if it's something that I've observed with Trump, it's like if you think Trump is the Messiah and the best thing since fucking sliced bread, then you're his best friend in the entire world.
mm,
I met Cotter. He's a great guy. I love him. He's so smart. He's so competent. But then the second you talk shit about anything that he does, then he's like, fuck that guy. I never liked that guy in the first place. He's a real piece of shit. And so that kind of lack of loyalty that's not based off of principle, that's the frustration. So for instance, like some people are frustrated with me because I like Vosh. I like Vosh as a person. I think his politics are dog shit.
mm,
I think what he advocates for I completely resent. I think the community that he's created is very frustrating to deal with, but I think he himself is an entertaining, charismatic,
yeah,
intelligent person who has some very frustrating flaws. But that's everybody. So
yeah,
so the point being that even if you hated him and you thought he was a piece of shit, you should be able to admit some of his positive qualities and then make a value judgment based off of those positive and negative qualities. If the only way that you judge people is whether or not they like you, that's a really toxic way to fucking deal with people. Like super
mm.
toxic.
I imagine sometimes as do you ever watch Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this one I know you have respect for him and all that, but I always have this image in my head when he speaks. There's he did this bit called The Pretentious Illiterate.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Galifianakis is like Live at the Purple Onion, and he says he has glasses on. He's like, "I thought I told you, I don't know how to read," and that's the bit.
Well, no,
I
that
imagine
is
that is
legitimate.
Raj for some reason.
No, that is legitimately funny
Yeah.
because Vosh does do that thing like I've read all theory ever, even though he's
Yeah.
like never read any of those fucking books. And then he does. I think it's obvious. I think even he'll admit that he wings a lot of shit. So yeah, so that could be
Mm.
frustrating. But that's like that's one of those ego things, right? So
Yeah.
do you have the humility to admit when you're wrong or you don't know something? And a lot of people don't like that. So, for instance, I was debating JF, libertarian eugenicist French guy, yesterday, and he came up with a really interesting position that I didn't know how to challenge. And instead of challenging it, I just said, "Yeah, fuck it. Like I don't know." He was
Mm.
basically saying that early Russian incompetence and losses were the result of a deliberate strategy to not destroy Ukraine and to kind of go in with like gloves on basically
Okay.
and then what you were really going to see is a ramping up of the stranglehold of Russia on Ukraine right now and in the coming weeks where eventually they would achieve their strategic goals and ultimately it would have been Putin playing 4D chess. Well, here's the thing. I know plenty of motherfuckers, and very few of them are playing 4D chess. Most people are just doing their best with what they have. So I don't think
Mm,
Putin's playing 4D chess, but I do think that in the gaps of war and propaganda, it's entirely possible that I've been sucked in by a narrative, and because I've been sucked in by a narrative, I think the Ukrainians are doing better than they're actually doing.
mm,
And so that's where I am always cautious about my perspective, and I'm always wary of people who, one, are confident about their opinion on every subject. That's a red flag. And then another red flag is when they're confident about a subject I know they're wrong on, and they refuse to admit they're wrong. That is like, okay, I can't trust you anymore. To be like somebody that I will go to for an opinion. Maybe you're entertaining, and maybe I'll listen to you every now and then. But if I know you're wrong on something, and you just through like force of ego and conviction are able to bullshit your way through a fucking subject while being completely fucking wrong, at that point I
mm.
can't trust you.
You don't think Putin's based?
No. No. I think he's a strong guy. I think he's doing the best he can with his legacy and trying to restore the Russian Empire. But I don't think there will ever be. I think everything that Russia is doing could have been achieved through diplomacy.
Hmm.
And I don't think there's really, when you can achieve what you can through peaceful means, you should do it through peaceful means. If you can't achieve it
Absolutely.
through peaceful means, then you can do it violently. And there are like men, women, and children who are dead now because of Putin's ego and his goals and his unwillingness to do it through diplomacy. And I think that's really frustrating. And if we contributed, by the way, if somebody's like, oh no, Putin's based, he exhausted every opportunity, it's NATO who caused the incident. If we drove Putin into a corner where we made it diplomatically impossible for Russia to gain access to the Black Sea and have a base in Crimea, then we are partially at fault for these dead people as well, and that's
Mm,
fucked up. And I think anybody who contributed to that should be fucking ashamed of themselves because this war was completely unnecessary.
mm. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to say something about. I want to say something about I see politics as, like sports in a way
Yep.
where um and this is what I've learned is like the pendulum that goes like so when like when Trump got elected, he people are like all happy. They're like, "Yo, this is great." And it's almost as if, like, it wasn't gonna end, like, the victory wasn't gonna like, "We won, it's over," right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I can't stand about people, like, who simp for, like, a side, is like, "You guys won," right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, what happens after that? And what if and if even though he won,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, he didn't it's like something isn't right, and there's people fighting in the streets, everyone's arguing, we're divided, and it's like, is everything great, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, what's gonna happen if the other side wins? Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like people, like, live in, they there's, like, this, like, reality where, like, you have these leaders that you respect them, and you're like, they're destined to do this thing, and then when it doesn't happen, you're in this, like, alternate reality
Mm-hmm.
where, like, "This shouldn't have happened, this is all they're all cheated." Um, I don't believe the election was rigged, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, no. Um, but people it's like they don't expect it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah. So
think
they
everybody knows everybody hates Biden. Everybody knows everybody hates Biden. It's like, are you sure about that? Like what
yeah,
happens when the
and
pendulum swings the other way? It's like in sports when you watch like you're rooting for your favorite team. You're rooting for your favorite team and like they lose and then you break your TV. It's like I trusted you, you know? So that's basically it. Anyway.
no, 100%. Well, it is about that time. Probably need to go hang out with the wife and the kiddo, get to bed, and go do my wage cage thing. Would you mind shouting out to the good folks at home who you are, what you're all about, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll call it a night.
All right, can I do one more thing?
Sure.
All right. How does that sound?
Actually, I think your mic sound blocker or whatever blocked it, but
It just. Oh
basically,
God. Oh my God.
hey, look cool. I'm a big
Hey,
fan of
it
firearms
sounded
myself.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nerf guns. I mean, maybe I'll teach you how to clear rival series. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I need to learn first. I need to learn how to change or clear the AK-12 shotgun. Good God, that took me fucking forever. So awesome, buddy. Well, how about you let folks know where you're at, and then we'll call it.
Hi, my name is Common Cure. Um, I guess I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I'm just doing. I just like. I guess I argue on Twitter a little bit. I want to do some. Maybe when things get a little bit warmer, do some local journalism, do some local politics, stuff like that. Um, and I guess video editing on the side. And yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on, buddy. It was fun. I wish you a beautiful evening, and we'll talk soon.
All right. See you around, man.
Catch you.